3 impossible things. You're probably wondering, how did she pick only 3 impossible things? You read the news and it feels like everything is impossible these days. What are we going to do for our country? What are we going to do for our planet? It's a hard time to be alive. And of course, maybe one of the hardest questions too, because you can turn off the news and you can push aside the paper and you can say, I don't want to know, I don't want to know. We'll start with the impossible question of what to do when there is something inside us that needs healing, that feels impossibly broken. And I know that many of you in this room know about these experiences, and you know that it is, in fact, possible to make a new way forward. It takes time, and it takes patience. It takes curiosity, as Margaret Wheatley said. And it also takes, as a character on the BBC show Paul the Midwife said the other day, it says, being able to say, if no one can give us any certainty, we will make do with hope. We will simply choose to remain open to the possibilities of healing. This is true for so many kinds of healing, whether you are grieving a loss in your life, whether you are struggling to imagine the future. I simply want to say to you this morning, the thing you think is impossible is possible, but it may not look like what you think it looks like. So let's begin from that premise. Now, Lao Tzu teaches that if you want peace in the world, you must have peace in the nations. If you want peace in the nations, you must make peace in the cities. If you want peace in the cities, you must make peace in the homes. And for peace in the homes, you must make peace in the heart. So this question of how we are to do the impossible and heal ourselves is where we begin, in order to be able to also turn to these great questions of what we are to do with a country in turmoil. And I want to share a story from John Lewis, a hero of the civil rights movement and a representative from Georgia's 5th Congressional District. He tells this story about his childhood. So John Lewis grew up tremendously poor in the South, part of a large black sharecropping family. And he and his parents and siblings lived in a little shack which they purchased for $300 cash. And so did the rest of the family, living in these tiny little wooden buildings not far from each other. John Lewis says that one day he was at his aunt's house with about 14 other cousins, and the children were running in the yard and playing, and a storm began to pick up. And after a while, it was enough of a storm that all the children went inside, and his aunt said, it's all right, you're all indoors now. And the rain is coming down, and the wind begins to blow harder and harder and harder. And John Lewis says, we were starting to get a little scared. We looked at our aunt, and she didn't seem worried, so we figured it was okay. But the house began to shake. And then the house began to move a little bit. The wind was actually beginning to lift a corner and tip the house a little. And he said, now we were really scared, and I wonder what our aunt looked like. And she said, children, I want you all to hold hands with each other. So they did. They all joined hands. And she said, okay, walk with me. And all the children walked together into the corner of the house that was beginning to lift. And with their weight, settled it back down. And a different corner of the house began to lift, and everyone walked over there. And with their weight, they settled it back down. And this went on as the storm continued. He writes, and so it went, back and forth, 15 children walking with the wind and holding that trembling house down with the weight of our small bodies. Does that sound impossible to you? Children could save a house from being blown away, and yet they did. And our country is like that house. John John Lewis writes, "It certainly seemed that way in the 1960s, at the height of the civil rights movement, when America itself felt as if it might burst at the seams. So much tension, so many storms, that the people of conscience never left the house. They never ran away. They stayed, they came together, and they did the best they could, clasping hands and moving toward the corner of the house that was weakest. And then another corner would lift, and we would go there. This is America," he says. "Holding hands, moving toward the challenges, all of us together, so that we can continue to work to be a land of decency and respect for all." And it may be frightening. No one likes being in a house that is beginning to lift up. But staying together, holding hands, amplifies our ability to do what seems impossible. And now we come to the thing that is certainly weighing on me the most these days, which is the impossible question of how to live on a planet in climate crisis. We are doing what we can, so many of us, reducing plastic use and thinking perhaps about what we can grow in our gardens rather than having it trucked in from far away. Maybe you ride your bike as often as you can instead of driving your car, but it all feels so small. And the biggest news about what may be coming is the most frightening news. When you hear predictions of extinctions of many species and drastic changes in weather patterns. So what is it that is possible in the face of this kind of impending crisis? Well, first I think we open ourselves up to what is possible by returning to that practice of tending to grief. Because it is tremendously sad to face news, not only of human devastation, but of devastation of the planet. Some time ago, I remember reading a news article about freshwater mussels that live in Appalachian streams. And the streams are warming and acidifying, and it means that the mussels cannot grow shells that are thick enough for them to live, and so they're dying. And they're not cleaning the salt from the streams, and it's affecting other creatures. And I wept reading this article. And it's not because I have any great fondness for freshwater mussels or for streams in Appalachia. It was because this was simply another manifestation of what is being lost. And sometimes the first sensible response is to grieve. Because as a friend of mine said during her chaplaincy, sometimes when you cry, it clears you out and opens up the space to be brave. But then I also turn to the positive news, because it seems like every week I also hear another story of ways that human beings are doing what seemed impossible to try to address this and protect our planet and our future. There are scientists in Germany making synthetic leaves that take something like 16 times more carbon out of the atmosphere than natural tree leaves do. Or just a few days ago, I read about a scientist from California who has created small white silica microbeads. Not the plastic kind that poison the fish, but a silica kind which are safe for wildlife. And she's scattering them over the Arctic sea ice at the North Pole. And these beads increase the reflectivity and reduce the melting rate of the ice. So all kinds of unlikely things are happening because enough people are saying, I'm not going to accept that as impossible. I'm going to see what I can do. I have a crazy idea, and we're going to try it. We're going to try it. Synthetic trees? I don't know, it's worth a shot. Spreading microbeads over the ice? Why not? Let's try it. At this point, when I want to sound like a serious scholar, I quote Rebecca Solnit, who says that sometimes we choose despair because despair offers us certainty. I don't have to wonder anymore what will happen. I know it is going to be bad, and I can take that question off my plate. She says hope is harder because hope, by definition, requires uncertainty. And sometimes we don't like that very much. We just want to know what's going to happen, even if it's bad. Just don't want to wonder anymore. But because I have been watching a lot of Call the Midwife lately, I'm going to quote, I'm getting a thumbs up over here. Who else watches Call the Midwife? Raise your hands. All right, we're going to have a watch party sometime. I'm making a note. I'm going to quote one of the senior nuns on the show, who tells one of the young midwives that in her experience, most people do most things for one of two reasons: either fear or love. So perhaps the connection between hope and possibility and even grief is that it reveals to us what we love. And what we love, we are able to work for, to sacrifice for, to help to heal. To close, I want to share a prayer with you, which has been important to me in my life and in my justice work. I learned this prayer for the first time at an interfaith lobby day in Oregon, where the Oregon State Attorney General read part of it as part of her keynote address. It is the prayer that Eleanor Roosevelt said every evening. And if you only know Eleanor Roosevelt as the First Lady of this country, you should know that she was also the chair of the UN Commission on Human Rights. And she spent most of her life working in ways that seemed impossible to make life better for people at the margins. Eleanor Roosevelt was an Episcopalian, so some of the God language in this prayer may or may not work for you, depending upon your theology. I invite you simply to translate as needed. That's what I do as well. Our Father, who has set a restlessness in our hearts and made us all seekers after that which we can never fully find, forbid us to be satisfied with what we make of life. Draw us from base content and set our eyes on far-off goals. Keep us at tasks too hard for us, so that we are driven to thee for strength. Deliver us from fretfulness and self-pitying. Make us sure of the good we cannot see and of the hidden good in the world. Open our eyes to simple beauty all around us, and our hearts to the loveliness men hide from us, because we do not try to understand them. Save us from ourselves and show us a vision of the world made new.